Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us again for another Saturday Night Showdown. We've been off for a couple of weeks, but we did get Pagangeek back from winning his Hearthstone matches, and he will be going up against Ceraphus. Now, we're going to be playing a little bit of StarCraft 2 today instead of our normal Hearthstone. So with me, instead of our normal Will from D20crit.com, we have Lignar. What's going on, Lignar?
What's going on is I am mute button challenged right now. I started to speak and didn't have myself unmuted there. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really, really great now. Everyone knows that this is brought to you by World of Podcasts. Now, we're getting closer and closer to BlizzCon. I'm very excited. I'm going to be a part of the Hearthstone Fireside room. Are you going to be at BlizzCon this year, Lignar?
I am not. Finances and job situation did not work out in a way that's going to allow me to make it. I'm very disappointed in that because World of Podcasts is shaping up to be something amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You'll be missed, but we'll take plenty of pictures, so it'll be like you're there. It'll be just a great time. For those of you who are going to BlizzCon, it will be running on November 6, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. at the Hilton in Anaheim, and that's right. I've never been there, but literally it's like across a driveway from the convention center that BlizzCon's going to be taking place at.
Yeah, it's pretty much across the sidewalk. You don't even have to cross the street, really. Well, it's like, basically a driveway to get into their parking garage.
Mm-hmm. So with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right into the action. Now, just for people that are kind of joined in, and we just want to let you know, we're not StarCraft 2 pros. We're doing this for fun. We're doing this just because we would just get a little bit of information out about World of Podcasts. Pagangeek, as people know from previous weeks, he was here he is a co-host of from D20crit.com, A Bit of Geek and Nerdery, and Ceraphus does the Sundering as well as Azeroth Pirate Radio. In addition, he's also one of the co-founders and organizers of Catalyst Gaming Media and World of Podcasts. So it's great to have him on. Have you ever played either of these two players in StarCraft 2, Lignar?
I have not. Yeah, but I feel like I'm going to have an advantage now. Casting a best of 3 here. I feel like I'll have an advantage if I come across when I'm on the ladder sometime.
Yes, we can kind of watch them and kind of take care of them. Be like, ha ha ha, I know what I'm playing. So let's see, how's them loading up now? Hopefully we'll get right into this game. Oop. There we go. So we over here on the upper left-hand side of your screen, we have Ceraphus, and he's a Terran player.
And in the lower right, our red Protoss is Pagangeek, and in-game here he is going by Pike.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you ever done any casting for StarCraft at all before?
I did a little bit with our first charity that we did for Child's Play last spring in 2013, and it was obvious then that I am not a pro StarCraft caster. Mm-hmm. No, yeah, but we had a good time doing it though. So
right, and that's what this is all about. We're gonna have some great times, watch a fun match. In my experience with watching online games, it isn't unnecessarily if you're watching like the highest caliber of players, but as long as it's like a fair match, two people that equally skilled going at it is just as fun, whether they're Bronze League or Grandmaster.
Right, I totally agree. I mean, it's kind of like football. If you got 2 evenly matched teams, it can be entertaining to watch. So
now we have Psyche here. He has his what I like to call the pro drone.
Yeah, the hero drone.
The hero drone. He's going out there trying to kind of scout out, see what's going on. Ceraphus is already building up his defenses up front, trying to make sure the drone doesn't get in there. Or probe. I should probably use the proper terms. The probe. He doesn't want that probe getting in there and figuring out what is going on.
Just call him a worker. Oh, well, wow, he's got a gap between his supply depot and his barracks. Mm-hmm. So his wall is not that effective of a wall. Yep.
Yeah, he's fixing up I think he has 2 gaps, both above and below the supply depot. So he's fixing one and probably going to take care of the other.
If you put a expansion, a tech lab, or a reactor on that barracks, that'll close that one gap off, but he still does have the gap where the depot is. So,
So we have just normal start. Filling up on your crystals, starting to get your gas now.
And Pagangeek just came up with a forge, so wonder if he's gonna it would be a slow cannon rush, but it might be a kind of a cannon rush he's wanting to pull here.
Mm-hmm. You know, I almost think maybe he wants to, really set a good defensive layer. Like you said, it's a little late for a cannon rush, so
Right.
that's what I think might happen here. If he does a cannon rush, I mean, it's going to catch him a little off guard being so late, and he already has pretty much the front blocked off. See, we have the barracks going down, a second barracks going down for Ceraphus as well. Kind of just covering all his bases. Gonna, I think, start pumping out these Marines.
And he's got a Marine. I don't know if he's not aware of that Marine or if he's just having him kind of stand guard over in where his third would be, to see if maybe he's going to try to put a pylon in there to do a 4-gate with warp ends or.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just scout out, keep it yourself. Now I'm a little surprised unless this guy's coming out there. Let's see where these Marines are going. Yeah, they're just kind of watching out all around the front of the base, I guess, at this point. You got to be a little careful with that, just because at any point, a zealot or anything could pop out of nowhere and just kill those lone standing Marines. Take a look. 13, 24. It's weird, when I really was into StarCraft, right now with a lot of my time spent on Heroes of the Storm, I remember they didn't have like the worker count on top of these buildings, so it's like it throws me off. I'm like, is this something I'm supposed to be seeing?
Yeah, there's been some folks who've used the map editor to customize UIs, and you can rather than using the production tab, there'll be an icon hovering above or below a barracks to let you know if he's building Marines or Marauders, or you don't have to use the production tab. You can tell what's going on in each building. It's actually kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. We have a third barracks going down for Ceraphus. We have a engineering bay as well. Pagangeek at this point starting to just kind of build up a small, ring of buildings to kind of protect those probes.
Yeah, he's got warp gate research about a third of the way done in another gateway building, so he's going to have 2 gates, but he just threw down a Stargate here too. So I'm really curious. That this is going to sound like I'm maybe bashing our players here. I'm not, because I'm Bronze League myself, guys. I'm kind of curious if he's going to maybe hold off and try to go for carriers, or if he's just trying to get some Phoenixes out. Be kind of interesting to see what's going on here.
Yeah, no, I've jumped around a lot in my time. When I first started playing StarCraft 2, I played a lot of Protoss, and that's when oh man, I can't even think what I'm blanking out on the name. The flying with the 3 lasers. Wow.
Void Ray?
Void Ray. I used to void rush everybody. You could get.
You're one of those guys.
Yeah. Well, at first, that's when I first started playing, and then eventually I made it to Zerg, where I actually learned to play properly, and I didn't rush anybody, and I didn't even quick pool anybody either, because I was very frustrated when that would happen to me.
Yeah, I think I played a lot of Terran, and Warp Gate research has just finished, and there goes the conversion of one of them. We have a Stalker being built in the other, and I'm willing to bet he'll convert that one as soon as that Stalker's done being built. But yeah, I used to play a lot of Terran, and I never really did much of a bunker rush type of deal, but I would do an 11-11 barracks, send 2 barracks, proxy barracks, and send the guys out from there. And I didn't bother with the bunkers. You could just flood them with Marines. Mm-hmm. But I would only do that if I was on a losing streak, and I'm like, damn it, I need to win one.
Yeah. No,
So
that's the thing. It's like sometimes it's like those cheap, easy ones. They feel so good to do it, but
yes,
you shouldn't. Now we have both Ceraphus and Pagangeek grabbing their expansions almost at the exact same time.
Yeah,
Pagangeek a little bit ahead.
And Ceraphus is throwing a scan down in the main, probably trying to see if there's maybe a dark shrine. I got a feeling he's afraid of some DTs coming, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know I'm.
Very little aggression on either side. Both people are trying to kind of build up their armies a little bit before kind of heading in. As I say that, here we go with some Marauders and some Marines making their way across the map.
So pretty good chunk of bio here. There's 3 Marauders in there and 12 Marines, 13 Marines. So.
And he's able to scout that out with his mothership core. So he's perfectly aware of it coming there. And here, Ceraphus kind of comes back to, go after it or just make sure that it, isn't there any longer. We kind of flow the mothership core right into another set of Marauders and Marines.
Yeah, Marines will melt a mothership core quickly.
Yeah, I think that's why he ran away. But I think he assumed that all the Marines were in that pack and that there weren't going to be any, in the base at this point. But we do have a Void right here, a Stalker, and a couple of Zealots kind of sitting there patiently to play some defense for Pagangeek at this point.
I think, though, that this biomass, if Ceraphus does move into that ramp there is a cannon back there, but now second Void Ray joins him, I'm kind of curious that he does have stem, so the DPS output from this biomass can be pretty overwhelming.
Yep. And he was able to really take care of the Void Rays really quickly, taking care of anything that's getting warped in. This bio push I think is going to be strong. It's going to at least be able to take out the expansion. Which just put people behind.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any more army. He needs to really warp in some units here. He needs to get some stalkers in. His gateways aren't doing anything. He's got the resources to build to get a couple stalkers. So
Surface is taking it just a little slowly here, just I think testing the waters.
And he's got reinforcements trailing across the map. So this might be this. I would say early aggression, but we're 12 minutes in. Mm-hmm. Ceraphus might have the bio ball here that he needs to kind of just take it if he pushes up that ramp.
Mm-hmm. Now, I forgot. Did you say you played some Protoss or?
I played a little bit of all three actually. When I use Protoss, I don't cannon rush, but I basically 4-gate, even though I know that strategy is quote unquote dead. And wow, there we go.
And that's the end of the game, folks. Ceraphus was able to take game one with a nice strong bio push. Get out of this game and kind of get ready for the second one. I didn't even say it. So the first one was I'm going to say this wrong, Kin Sinjon Station. We're going to actually be doing Overgrow with the second game. We kind of chose ahead of time just to speed it up.
Am I still in the game with you guys or no?
We're all just getting out of the game now. I'll have to kind of rebuild the game.
Gotcha.
Again. So let's go ahead.
I guess I lied to you. I was silver the last time I played in the ladders, which has been probably 4 seasons ago.
4 seasons ago? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this going. I haven't played Protoss in a while. What would you do in a second map in order to kind of stop the same strategy from working again?
I would probably, as Protoss, and I'm not very proficient at Protoss, I would probably not take the Forge that quick unless I was going to cannon rush. I would use the Forge later, start getting upgrades. I would go get as many gateways and get the cyber facility as quick as I can to get warp gate research in. Mm-hmm. And if you got if you just got stalkers and zealots, he probably could have held off if he'd had some zealots out there to tank and have his stalkers back in the back kind of picking off that bio ball that Ceraphus had. He probably would have been able to hold his own. That's what I would have done differently. And there's probably somebody listening that's going, no, you're an idiot. That's the wrong thing to do. I think the Forge maybe cost him so much that he wasn't able to have an army to defend himself.
Right. Yeah, no, I think he just he needs to take a little, either build more defenses, or a couple more just straight up defensive structures. I'm blanking out on names right now. It's horrible. Or he needed to, get some more of an army out there and not so many buildings, because you can have those 3 gateways, but if you're not pumping anything out of the first one when it's out there, you're not really doing much.
Exactly.
Now in game 2, like I said, we're going to be here on Overgrow. In the upper right-hand corner, blue yet again, is Ceraphus. And
in the bottom left, we have, again, the red Protoss, Pagangeek. Again, and just, building workers now, everybody seems to be doing, so.
Yeah, well, you got to get those workers out there, get them doing their thing early and quick. So, let's honestly, nothing different. You know, it's so funny because I'm so used to like looking at Zerg when I'm in the screen.
Right.
I've pretty much switched completely to Zerg. I haven't played Protoss since, like I said, first couple of weeks, maybe month of StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. So that's at this point that's what 4 years ago almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Wings of Liberty was about 2 years, or maybe a little bit more, and then we've been in Heart of the Swarm now for it was 2 years this past March.
It just seems like the development cycle is just like flying by with this game. They are talking, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a big announcement about Legacy of the Void.
I hope so.
Come BlizzCon, yeah. We were talking about the in-game goodies, and they had what was it, Hierarch Artanis was one of the portraits we're going to be seeing in for by getting a ticket or a virtual ticket to
Right.
BlizzCon. So that's really cool. I'm excited. But they did blur out the second portrait, which makes you wonder, like, what are you gonna see in the cinematic, or what are you gonna see anywhere at BlizzCon that they're hiding, kind of keeping something, hidden.
Yeah, exactly. And with some of the news that's going on, well, we know we're not going to get a Titan reveal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, I think they kind of have to give us Legacy of the Void at this BlizzCon. I think that has to be their quote unquote big reveal for the opening ceremonies.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's going to be the big cinematic. Normally every year there's at least one cinematic that we get to look at, and
Right.
It's going to be Legacy of the Void. It's got to be.
And we have Pagangeek here putting a proxy pylon up in the north center of the map. Interesting strategy.
Mm-hmm.
The potential problem here is that proxy pylon, while it's in a place that it won't probably be easily found, and as I say that, Ceraphus is running a Marine around, and okay, stop the Marine. I was like, what? Right after I say that, watch him run the Marine right over there and spot it. The problem I have with it is it's a long way to go if he warps units in to bring them around that gate, that corner there. So it's kind of a give and take where you get the proxy pylon in a place that's not likely to be discovered very early, but the units aren't going to make it to your opponent's base very quickly either. So,
Yep, and we got 2 barracks right away again for Ceraphus, and it looks like Pagangeek, is already starting, to create some units. He's already got 1 zealot waiting.
yeah, and he's got the gateway research going. He's got 2 gas down now, so. Yeah, it looks like he has foregone the forge, as far as I can tell. I didn't see one building, and I don't see one on the map. So
yeah, just a cybernetics core.
There's another gateway going down right now too. So
in the last game, he was able to kind of keep his supply and his and his total units pretty much even early on, which I thought he did really good job at. That's what you aim for. Even if you're a kind of low-end player, you don't want to have too much supply because that means you're building too many structures, pylons, and supply depots. But at the same time, you don't want to have too few.
He's
kind of caught.
He's being a tricky dude. He that proxy pylon, he put a Stargate up there, so we're doing a proxy Stargate, which is usually kind of fun to see play out. So.
And with the dual gas proxy pylon that early, are we going to see a void rush? Getting ready just to kind of come up and around and hit the base.
That's very likely. I don't see why you would go Phoenixes right now because you don't really have any other air unit. You're not seeing any air units from the Terran. Yeah, I mean Void Rays or maybe is he building anything from it yet?
Let's go ahead.
Or, I was gonna say he could maybe do some oracles, but I would probably in this situation I would probably go with Void Rays.
Yeah, I mean I don't see a reason to do like an oracle or anything like that at this point because why risk putting a Stargate that close to your enemy and then pull out oracles?
Right.
I would say that means you want to be aggressive. Then you need the aggressive Void Ray to be coming out of there. Smart move, getting those 2 stalkers over there to kind of, keep the peace. Make sure that if a small army of Marines happen to walk by, that you can clean them up. Hits a couple Marines around the map. This bio ball again. You know, 7 Marines, 4 Marauders, with 2 more coming right now. And he's starting to, you know, make his way out onto the board.
Yeah, and at some point, either I just completely missed it earlier, or it built when I was looking somewhere else on the map. But Pagangeek did get a forge built, and he's got +1 weapons running upgrades right now in the forge. So Void Ray just started building as well out of that Stargate. So, so I'm kind of curious. I don't think if Ceraphus pushes with this army he's got, I don't think Pagangeek has enough to hold it off.
Nope.
Right now.
I think he's kind of in the same boat as the last time. You know, it's just this, you know, little group of Marines that are gonna, you know, kind of take it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple zealots down there, but he's only got 3 gateways, I guess. So he can't really get too many units in very quickly.
It's like sometimes I just want to yell, be like, "He's coming!"
Right. But the Void Ray just came out. But he's got a Void Ray, 2 Stalkers and a Zealot sitting up there by the proxy pylon he put in, and there's the attack, and those Zealots did not last.
Nope. He's gonna push here. You know, having the pylon up there. You know, he does have, you know, a little bit of stuff saved, so he can throw something up top if needed. But I think he's going to push and take it with the very, you know, pretty much the same build he did the last time.
Very, very similar. Yeah, I mean, it's not as many units, but it's basically the same strat. And Pagangeek is pushing into Ceraphus' main here with 3 Stalkers, a Zealot, and 1 of the Void Rays. And he might actually do some pretty good damage here. Stalkers are falling to there's 3 Marines that Ceraphus had here left over that are defending, and another Void Ray is coming in. Ceraphus might actually lose a fair amount of workers and maybe even lose his base. We'll see how this plays out. But Pagangeek has already lost his main.
But he does have another Nexus, you know,
building
right now.
Yes.
Which I think is very smart on his part. You know, getting that Nexus up there is going to at least keep him in the game and possibly keep him to win, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was very smart to do that. Ceraphus has not found that proxy pylon in the Stargate yet, so it's going to take him some time to find where the expansion went. He just basically said abandon his main base and build a new one, and with the damage that's being done in Ceraphus' base right now, I don't think he's going to have the resources to go find that base that Pagangeek built. So...
Yeah, but I mean, the only thing that Ceraphus actually that he does have going for him right now is this army. They're still a pretty big-sized army. You know, they are a little weak in terms of life, so he's going to be able to eat through those Marines pretty quickly with his Void Rays. It's just a matter of what dies first, the Marines or the Void Rays at this point.
Right.
You know, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think the Marines are going to be able to handle it or no?
I don't know for sure.
And again, he does have this other set of Marines just hanging around
at the tower,
by the tower too. So he does have a good chunk of Marines that are around.
But by default, well, I guess, you know, Ceraphus, does he have any workers left? No, he's got one. Yes, he does have 1 SCV hanging out at the back of his base. So if Pagangeek could kill that SCV, then it's basically over by default, because it's just down to the army, and Pagangeek can build more units, and Ceraphus can't build any more structures with which to build more units. But he does have that 1 SCV left. However, he doesn't, and he's got plenty of money. He could build another command center. He's got 1,995, almost 2,000 minerals, so he could build another base somewhere and go. But if Pagangeek can get more of an army built up here, this bio ball that's coming, he might be able to hold it off. It's going to be interesting to watch play out, though.
No, for sure. I think you know, he actually at one point had enough to build at least 1 more Void Ray, but he's gone and he's, you know, trying to build up a little more base. I wonder if a 3rd Void Ray would have made a little more sense.
Possibly, but Ceraphus did just find his base, and let's see what happens with these. Oh wow, that Void Ray is melting.
both
The other,
Void Rays
yeah,
were
this is.
so close. Those Void Rays went down. That's what I'm saying. A third Void Ray, I think, would have handled that pretty well.
I think you're right. I do think you're right there.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna bring them in, kind of for a post-match interview. So give us just 1 second to go ahead and do that. I wonder if I forgot to tell Ceraphus to unmute himself. Hopefully he does it automatically. Are you guys unmuted at this point? Not yet.
I will see if I can whisper him. Yeah, I'll send him a name in game.
Hey, Sean.
Hey.
Pagangeek. How you doing?
See, sir, you did better than you thought you were going to do.
I don't even know if he can hear you yet.
I don't think you can hear me yet.
Yeah, Lignar's gonna go ahead and send him a message to kind of get his headphones back on so he can hear us.
I tried to proxy gate there that both games, and I didn't realize he had such a big army over my base still. I wasn't paying attention to my micro very well.
Yeah, those the Marauder Marine push is dangerous. It comes so quickly. It's like if you're doing anything long game, like a proxy gate or Void Rays, he's just able to push in pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh man, he just whipped me.
I am shocked.
Well, that Marine Marauder push is killer, man. That's why I tried to proxy gate on you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, in the second game, it was pretty close. Like we saw you kind of start building up those Void Rays, and then he's pushing with the Marine Marauders, and we're like, oh, like what's gonna happen here? It's gonna be a base race, and then you start building your Nexus up right near him, and I'm like, oh, he's got a shot here.
Yeah, and I think if you had built one more Void Ray, you might have been able to hold him off. And Ceraphus had one SCV hanging out by the supply depots on the backside of his base. If you'd have taken that SCV out and been able to hold him off, you basically would have won by default.
Yeah.
But it still was like one of those like, is there enough Marines there to melt the Void Rays before the Void Rays melt the Marines?
When I found out he played Terran, that was what I was most afraid of, was that damn Marine Marauder push. That's why I really wasn't teasing him. I laid my strategy right out to him on Twitter. I'm like, I'm going to 2-gate proxy Stargate. That's my only chance.
Hey.
He didn't even let me get his proxy Stargate the first game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you build it right in your base. You're like, okay, I got to get moving.
Yeah.
I mean,
those Marauders are just evil, brother.
They are.
Like it's the only one. Like from back when StarCraft 2 first launched, that was like the one thing. This one of my buddies always said. He's like, just build us some Marine Marauders. It will help you protect your base. It'll give you some initial push. He's like, it's not enough to get you to the end game, so you'll have to figure that out. But
either
so
you win with it or you learn to do stuff after.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
you get your APM up enough to where you can get about 50 workers. You get an expansion of 50 workers as Terran, and this is pre-Heart of the Swarm, so Wings of Liberty. You get an expansion of 50 workers and upgrade your main base, and then every time you get 150 minerals, you create you build a barracks, and you always have those barracks turning something out, and you have Marine Marauder medevac. You push about 10 minutes, Liberty, you will not lose. If you move out that Marine Marauder army, and especially if you've got medevacs healing them, you just can't lose. Bronze League, Silver League, you're just going to crush them.
Yeah, I actually recently switched from Terran to Protoss as well. So it's and I love Protoss simply because their units are so powerful if you can get the build order outright.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always liked Protoss when I did play them because the probes, they start to warp something in and then they get back to work. Like, that's what I always liked about Protoss. It's like, start warping and then get back to doing your job.
see, I really love the idea of Zerg, and I'm just not good at them. Like, I really just love the idea of just like this massive like infestation, just like swarming over a map, and I'm just not good at them at all.
I'm a big fan of Acer Scarlet, if you know who that is, and I've downloaded several of her matches. It's insane the actions per minute you have to play Zerg effectively.
Mm-hmm. It's
Which
basically,
is not me.
You cannot miss an inject. You cannot miss the opportunity to spread creep from a tumor or a queen. Plus, you have to actually build your army and attack with it. So it's a lot of micro and a lot of APM to do Zerg correctly. and effectively. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Like, 'cause that's what I primarily play now, and it's so much fun. You really have to know like your key bindings for your group. 'Cause
Yes.
you have to have like your your queen's key bound, so you can just pop through them really quickly and inject. So it's a fun time.
And a tip for Zergs out there, I don't remember who it was. I heard this on StarCast. They were interviewing a pro Zerg. By default, backspace takes you to your bases. It cycles through your different bases. If you switch that to spacebar, because your hand's already there, if you're a Zerg and you have your queens on, say, Action Group 1, your Hot Group 1, you can do your injects really quickly. Because it's V, and then you just spam spacebar and click to do your injects.
The closest queen will
always does the inject, yes.
Inject the there. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think I always did 0 or 9.
Right, but the tip there is to change the hotkey that takes you to your bases to spacebar, because your thumb's right there. You're probably over the E and the Z and the 1 through 4 for your left hand. So.
So Sarate, I want a rematch though. I want a rematch after I have not spent all day at an event already.
I was at an
literally
event.
woke up from a nap like 5 minutes before we started. So
Hey, I was at an event all day. Kids' birthday parties take a lot out of you, okay?
cry me, yeah.
And then I had to watch Jake and the Neverland Pirates all day, okay? You talk to me about how that messes with your mind.
Yeah, well, you know what? There you go. I will concede to you there, sir. Did you have any clue I had that second base?
No, I was like, all right, I just gotta beat him down here, and that's it. I just gotta, and so I kept on hitting stim packs down there. Like my guys were like near dead, and I'm just like, I cleared his bait. What do you mean the board isn't revealed to me? Where is he? And then I'm just like wandering the bottom quadrant. I'm like, where did he expand to? I'm like, and then like all of a sudden I was like, he expanded up near my base. So I just started. I started gathering up all my troops. I'm like, oh, please don't have too many void rays. Please don't have too many void rays. I hate void rays.
That's at the point. Had you upgraded? Well, never mind. He destroyed your command center. I'm like, that's the point. I start scanning everywhere, and then I just realized I was like, had you upgraded yet? But then he destroyed it, so it wouldn't have mattered. So
look, I'm with you. I think one more void ray, I could have held that off and got him.
Yeah,
I think so.
100%.
I think so.
We were like figuring out. I'm like, I think one more. And the funny point is, there was that one time where you were building your Nexus and you had enough of Void Ray, and I'm thinking, put a Void Ray out, just get more stuff on the map.
Or you even could have, if you had a couple, Void Ray would have been a better solution. But if you had 2 Phoenix, you could have lifted a Marine and killed him, and then lifted a Marine. I could have
lifted a Marine and killed him. You're right. I didn't think about that with the Phoenix.
Because I think the Phoenix would take, I'm thinking 2 shots to kill a Marine. So, but the one lifting can't shoot. So.
Yeah. So Sarah, whenever you're playing against a Protoss, you always want to look for what they call that proxy gate.
Yes. Or even the proxy pylon, where they'll, if they're going to 4-gate you, that pylon up there, and they'll warp their units in from there. Yeah. Like I didn't realize when you built that pylon that you were going to do the Stargate, because I was like, well, if this is going to be a proxy pylon to warp units in, like it's in a good place to where Ceraphus probably isn't going to see it, but then you had kind of a long way to go around that gap there in the map, and then you built the Stargate, and I was like, aha. Yeah. You sneaky dude.
That's a tip I learned from Rotterdam, man, watching him play.
Like I just know that I hate void rays. I've played people and like I've seen I'll move like a whole bunch of my guys in, and then all of a sudden I'll see like 20 void rays coming at me, and it's like the scene from Apocalypse Now. It's like you got the music playing, they're like coming over like the horizon. It's like, oh Lord.
Yeah, man, but like I said earlier, nothing shakes more fear into a Protoss player than seeing that Marine Martyr march come at you. That's just brutal.
I mean, honestly, that last game, I'm like, all right, I'll push a little bit here, maybe slow him down, I'll expand. But as soon as I started pushing a little bit, and I was about to go back up to my base, I was like, oh my god, he's in my base. I was like, hurry up! It's a race to see who can destroy all the buildings first. And I was like, oh man.
Okay, well that's gonna do it for tonight's Saturday Night Showdown. Pagangeek, why don't you go ahead and let people know where they can find you, what you've been up to in terms of shows, so they can.
You can find Will and me at d20crit.com or at geekandnerdery.com, and you can tweet to me at Pagangeek, and my co-host Will at d20crit, and Tristan at Notazol.
Okay, and Ceraphus, what about you?
Well, tomorrow you can find me at a breakfast buffet because I'm celebrating with a whole bunch of all-you-can-eat bacon. But on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Ceraphus. I'm on the Sundering Effect tomorrow night. We got episode 200. You can find me on Azrod Pirate Radio podcast. And, of course, we got this great event called World Podcast coming up in Anaheim on November 6th. Lots of great stuff. I'm actually working on a post to show like some of the swag that's going to be given out at the event. So stay tuned for that.
Hey, Seraphus.
Yes.
I can't make BlizzCon this year, but I will be making it next year. And the first beer and the first bacon's on me.
All right. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm actually now going to make it a point to go just so I can get the beer and the bacon.
You know what? You come to Gen Con, you can get the beer and bacon a little quicker. So
maybe we'll see.
And Lignar, why don't you kind of let everybody know where you're found?
Folks can find me on Twitter at Lignar. They can find the Epic Podcast, which we're currently on hiatus, and there's some changes coming to the show. You can find that at epicpodcast.com. Might be putting something out on the feed here in the next week or so. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that's about it. I don't really do much other Facebook, none of that other fun stuff. But definitely check out World of Podcast, and I wish I could make it this year. It's shaping up to be an amazing event, way bigger. Last year was a bigger success than I think we expected it to be, and this year's shaping up to be just absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. And for me, you can reach me at Geek of Random on Twitter. Also, make sure to follow World of Podcasts at World of Podcasts on Twitter as well. When I'm there, you can catch me in one of two places. Either I'll be in the Hearthstone Fireside Gathering Room, or I'll be on the podcasting panel. So it's going to be a great time. Remember, 6:30, the Thursday before BlizzCon. Right at the Hilton in Anaheim.
I'm so jealous I will not be at World of Podcast with you guys.
Like I said to Lignar, we'll take pictures and we'll send them to you. Goodbye, everyone.
I'll bring in like a whiteboard and I'll hold up a sign and I'll say, "Look how much fun we're having, Sean."
Yeah, you know what? You probably would.
Too funny. Yep.
All right.
Thanks.
Hey,
again.
I appreciate.
We'll see you all around.
Are you clear, Adam? Hey, Lig.
Yes, sir.
I told Adam, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you. Rotterdam actually emailed me and said if he had not been on vacation, he would have come in and called the match for us.
Oh, wow. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, he follows me. He follows me on Twitter. So.
Is he's on vacation? He's not doing DreamHack right now?
No, he's not. He's not doing DreamHack. He's actually